Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to The Cave. If this is your first time finding me, I do a lot of giveaways. All you have to do to win is comment on this video and be a subscriber to the channel. Today we're going to rank the entire discography of the legendary Jay-Z. Now when you take a step back and look, from 1996 to 2006, Jay-Z literally had 12 albums. Yes, that does include the collab albums, but that's still 12 albums in 10 years. Now let's rank these albums. So since I'm only ranking his solo studio albums, I do want to give a shout out to the 5 collab albums he had, or really 7, but first off you got 2001 MTV Unplugged with The Roots, 2002 Best of Both Worlds, R. Kelly, 2004 Unfinished Business with R. Kelly, 2011 Watch the Throne, 2018 Everything Is Love. Those are the 5 collab albums. Now, aside from that, you still have the Gray album. Now, the Gray album, it isn't a Jay-Z album. You know, he had the Black album, and DJ Danger Mouse blended it with the White album. So, you know, you got 2 of the best-selling acts of all time with Jay-Z and the Beatles, and he blended it. Black album, White album, had the Gray album. Jay-Z didn't record anything for this, you know what I mean? This was just what happened when somebody got a hold of his acapellas from the Black album. So it's not like anything was recorded, but it added to Jay-Z's legend because there were so many tapes that were made. At the time, it was Jay-Z's last album. Everybody thought it was his last album, you know, so everybody remaking and just, it's crazy to think, oh, he just did the Black album and then everybody else took his acapellas and just ran with them with something entirely different. Now on that same vibe, you also have Collision Course. That was like a mashup album. Again, Jay-Z didn't record anything for that. You know, he recorded the Black album and certain songs, the acapellas were taken and they were applied to Linkin Park songs. So those technically shouldn't be a part of his discography. You know, he didn't have to record anything for it, but I have to mention them because they're a part of hip hop. So let's get into it, man. From worst to first, I'm going to give you my list. Some albums I'm going to give you a reason why they are where they are. And other ones, it just is what it is. As always, anything I say is subjective. You know, some songs may strike me in certain ways that you may not feel. You may be a classic hip hop head nod guy. You may not want to hear Money Ain't a Thing. You may not want to hear Money Cash Hoes. You know, maybe that's all you want to hear. But let's dive into it. All right, at number 13, Volume 1, In My Lifetime. This was released in 1997. It was most known probably for the singles City Is Mine and, of course, Sunshine. That song is why I have issue with this album, okay? And it's not necessarily the song. At this point in time, Bad Boy Records was dominating everything. Jay-Z saw Bad Boy Records wearing the shiny suit. It's well documented, you know, Jay-Z tried to do the shiny suit, as you see. He's regretted it ever since then. You know, good luck finding this video out there on the internet in high quality. But yeah, this was his second album. In my opinion, this is worst. Why I say that is because it lacks originality. You know, Shiny Suit Jay, that never should have happened. But here we are. Number 12, Kingdom Come. This was Jay-Z's 9th studio album, released in 2006. It's probably most known for Show Me What You Got. And the only thing I can really say about this album is I don't feel like music was really his focus. Maybe that's giving him a pass. I don't know. Number 11, Blueprint 2. This was Jay-Z's 7th studio album. It was released in 2002. It was probably most known for 03 Bonnie and Clyde, which would be the first collaboration he did with his future wife, Beyonce. And also Excuse Me Miss. Those were 2 dope tracks. I can't front on that. I feel like it was like quantity over quality. You know, at that point, I don't know if he just, because he saw Biggie did a double CD, so he, you know, I don't know what made him feel like he had to release a double CD. You know, I feel as if it was too promotional, you know, and there's another album I feel that way about, but we'll get to that later. Number 10, The Dynasty. This is Jay-Z's 5th studio album, released in the year 2000. Probably most known for Give It To Me, which was the lead single. My personal favorite was This Can't Be Life with Scarface. Much like the previous album, just like how I said about Blueprint 2, this song is like a promotional mixtape, is what it feels like. Memphis Bleek is on 7 songs. Beanie Sigel is on 11 songs. And that's aside from Freeway and Snoop, R. Kelly, Scarface. It's just, it does not feel like a Jay-Z album. It feels like a Rockefeller Records, hey, I want to show off my in-house producers of Kanye West and Just Blaze, and I have all these artists. But for whatever reason, it was released as a Jay-Z album. And even in the title, you know, Rock La Familia, that's what it's called. But still, it's like, in my brain, I don't consider that a Jay-Z solo album, because it's not. Magna Carta, Holy Grail. This is Jay-Z's 12th studio album, which was released in 2013. I don't really have anything bad to say about the album. I mean, 10 of the 16 tracks were produced by Timbaland, probably most known for Holy Grail or Tom Ford or Picasso Baby. But it was just like a transitional album. You know, it was like Jay-Z is transitioning from what he was to 444 Jay-Z. You know, it wasn't like as adult as 444 is, but it's getting there, you know. Next we got American Gangster. American Gangster was his 10th studio album, released in 2007, probably most known for Blue Magic and Rock Boys. I don't really have anything bad to say about it, but I will say, I feel like Jay-Z is one of a few artists that can get away with doing a concept album. Jay-Z could get away with doing that because that was very much so his lane. That's what he did. Next we got Blueprint 3. Blueprint 3 was his 11th studio album, which was released in 2009. I feel like this is his most slept on album. I'll say it. I mean, so many people hated this, but when you go back and listen to it, I challenge you 9 years later, go back and listen to it. I mean, I don't know how you can argue when an album has Death of Auto-Tune, Run This Town, and Empire State of Mind, like back to back to back. It's dope music. I feel like Blueprint 3 is severely slept on. I mean, I'm not a big fan of how it did have a lot of collabs. You know, it had Drake, it had J. Cole, it had a bunch of people, but slept on. Next, 444. 444 was Jay-Z's 13th studio album, which was released in 2017. It's probably most known for the story of OJ and, of course, the title track 444, which was basically a response to his wife's Lemonade album, where he's basically apologizing, so he has to say, I apologize 78 times on the song. It's a solid release. It's I don't have anything bad to say about the only thing I have bad to say about 444, I'm still not understanding why the booklet for this CD is just like a bunch of pictures, different CDs. It's like I don't care about seeing a Jay-Z poster in France. Who produced this song? You know, there is zero information. I'm not gonna hold that against him though. Next we got Volume 3, The Life and Times of S. Carter. This was Jay-Z's 4th studio album, released in 1999. This is the Big Pimpin' era. This is Big Pimpin' Jay-Z, or Do It Again Jay-Z. This is when he was really starting to hit his stride. This is just before the Kanye West and Just Blaze were added to the roster, but Jay had already made a name for himself big time, and the Rockefeller reign was about to start. So next we have Volume 2, Hard Knock Life, which was released in 1998, his 3rd studio album. Similar, you know, Jay-Z was just now hitting his stride. Hard Knock Life was his biggest hit yet, you know, and that was on this album, or Can I Get A? And this is definitely where Jay-Z found his lane. You know, he tried let's just be honest, you know, he heard Illmatic and he tried to go that lane with Reasonable Doubt. Then he heard Puffy, he tried to go more pop with the second one. This is his 3rd one. This is where he really found his lane, and I feel like this was his comfort zone. And this would, not to play on words, but this would really be like the blueprint for what he would do for the rest of his career. Reasonable Doubt. Of course, this was Jay-Z's debut album, 1996. Personal favorites on that one, Dead Presidents, Ain't No Nigga, Can I Live, Can't Knock the Hustle. I mean, it's a solid debut. It's a solid album, especially as a debut. It's nice. You know, it's what started it all. You know, you can't really, I don't have any exact commentary on it. It's just dope music. Next, released in 2001, The Blueprint. This was Jay-Z's 6th studio album. Had H to the Izzo, Girls, 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 Song Cry. The irony of this album is that it will be remembered as one of Jay-Z's best albums, but the reason behind that is because Kanye West was all over it. This was basically Kanye's introduction to being on Rockefeller Records. I think he did 4 or 5 tracks on there. The soulfulness of The Blueprint is undeniable. It's good music. And the number 1 album from Sean Corey Carter, Young Hov, Iceberg Slim, Hovey Baby, the Black Album. Released in 2003 as his 8th studio album, it's probably most known for Change Clothes or 99 Problems, but this was just top to bottom. This is one of the very few albums in hip-hop history you just put in, press play, and just let it go. Maybe personally for me, the visuals that went along with it, first off, the hype that went with it, because this was supposed to be Jay-Z's last album. You know, he went on to make 5 more solo albums and several more collab albums, but in the moment, this was the end-all be-all. If you haven't seen Fade to Black, most definitely check that out. It documents the entire situation. I mean, the album can sit on repeat, but when you tie in Fade to Black to go along with it, and it takes you through his entire creative process, it just makes you respect the entire thing so much more. Shows you put you in the studio with Kanye, in the studio with Pharrell, Timbaland, Rick Rubin. So that's my list. Let me know what you guys think, because I really want to know, where does Blueprint 3 fit for you? I had a middle of the pack. If you go back and listen to Blueprint 3 today, I bet you'll like it now more than you did before. Let me know what you guys think. For all things hip-hop, make sure you guys hit that subscribe button. I'll see you guys next time. Thanks so much for watching.